Welcome to the Madison podcast. My name is Ben Lavender, New York's favorite and best and most handsome British mortgage broker. Yes. Actually, not in New York, but on the entire planet. End quote from Ben Lavender's mother. Today, we have Mr. Matthew Algoo on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So that's the intro, really.
Oh, wow.
Which Tyler, you can choose to cut out or not cut out. Or you can just keep this in. I don't care. All right. So Algoo, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Who am I and what I do? So I'm a real estate broker. Work with corporate.
Broker, not agent.
Agent, salesperson.
Got it.
Out there, they just say broker, though.
Hmm?
They say everybody's a broker, kind of.
You got to pass the broker's test.
True.
You can't just say you're a broker. That's like me saying that I'm...
I don't own my own brokerage, though. Yeah.
You don't own Corcoran?
No.
I thought you did.
Imagine I
what
did.
What the? Get out.
Imagine I did.
Get out. Yeah,
Dude,
you wouldn't be here. That's for sure.
That. I 100% would.
Oh, yeah? I appreciate that.
110%.
Thank you.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so you're a Corcoran?
Yes. I'm an agent, and I flip properties. That's typically...
I didn't know you did flips.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea,
I'm doing my third one right now.
Mazel tov.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Okay,
thank you.
So let's not get into that yet. Let's talk about, what I always like to start these off so, people can get an idea. Like, tell us, because also you're a young guy too, but don't let the youngness fool you, because his drive and hustle and deal closing ability is better than most veterans in the business.
I don't feel young.
So yeah, man, no, you crush it. Age has nothing to do with it. You're a destroyer.
Thank you.
So talk to us just a little bit. Like, give us the quick version, not bore everyone to death with your life story. Like, how did you get into the business? Yeah. Why did you get into the business? And like, talk about like what took you from there. Like, I want to know specifically what you did before you did real estate.
Okay.
And then how you got to, like, once you got into real estate, what was your journey to get to where you are now? The floor is yours.
Okay, perfect. So before real estate, I was just coasting in school, not really doing anything at all. Didn't really have a direction either. I was just in college.
Where'd you go?
So I started off at Hostos, then I went to Hunter for a little bit, gotcha. And then that's where I was just coasting. I really wasn't doing really much. I was selling sneakers, and that's about it. Nice. Fun fact, I never worked any job at all.
Amazing.
All I did from starting at 15 was selling bikes and sell sneakers.
That's cool.
That's it. That's really literally
cool.
it.
Yeah.
And I actually I just didn't know what I wanted to do, but I went to college. I was going to school for PT. Didn't hate it. I actually liked it.
PT, physical therapy?
Physical therapy.
Oh, cool.
Exactly. And then randomly...
Why'd you pick that?
Honestly, because I was like, okay, so I'm very big into fitness and like working out, my body, like what I put in my body, how I treat my body, really. So everything I was just big into running, basketball, and fighting. So that was like my most...
Fighting?
Yeah, like MMA or...
What do you do?
Just MMA. Jiu-jitsu, kind of.
You still train?
I do still train. Majority... Actually, I stopped doing basketball now and now I just kind of spar and I just run, literally.
How much do you weigh?
I'm 155, 156-ish.
So we could spar a little bit. I got 20 pounds on.
I would love to. 100%.
I mean, I'm very, very rusty, so you gotta take it easy on me. But like a little light sparring, absolutely. You don't strike me as the person that would like go crazy.
Never.
Even if like I get like a scrape on you, or you get like because you never want to do that. But
never.
I'd love to do some sparring.
It's more of the banter, right? It's more of just the banter of like just seeing out what to do, what to try, and like just learning. Like it's more of the fun and the exercise of it.
Yeah. Where do you train?
Fun fact: my garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. You gotta since you're in Williamsburg all the time, we gotta get together. Come to my gym. I got gloves. Dude. I got pads. I got everything.
Bro, you tell me when.
Yeah, I just gotta freaking.
Let's do it. Let's actually.
We'll definitely do it, man. Probably a weekend would be better for me. I know about you, but
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
The week is weightlifting. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Gotcha. And I actually don't lift weights, but I'm planning to start lifting. Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, because you're doing all sports, MMA, you're lifting. It's
something has to give.
It's takes a toll. But it feels great.
It does. So how did I get into it? So I was going to school just coasting. Somebody introduced me to real estate. Somebody was like, okay, can you come help me at open house? I was like...
Just randomly, like a friend needed...
So he was just... Somebody is a friend from my family, from my brother. And then to this day, I don't know where the hell this guy is at all. But thank God I met him. He was like, come help me at open house. He would do it at the side. He had his one property. And he was like, come just have people sign in while he takes people through the property.
How long ago was this?
This was when I was 21 and a half, like maybe 3 years and 7 months ago.
Okay, that's precise.
Yeah, 3 years, 7 months. Yeah, literally, I remember to the day.
Gotcha.
And then after that day, I did the open house. I literally fell in love with it. It was kind of strange because I was like, oh, wow, I could kind of dress how I want and just speak to these people, having them sign in. I was like, oh, where do you live? Blah, 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 blah. Where are you coming from? What are you looking for? I was like, I found it more more of a conversation where I was like, oh wow, I actually don't feel like I'm working.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, I want to do this. And then literally the next week, I dropped out of school and I just went to get my real estate license. I didn't have the license yet, so dropped out, and I was like, okay, let me just do this and just see where the heck this could take me. And if it doesn't work out, okay, I'll go back to school. I'll figure something out. At that point, I was just like a crazy kid, just given a chance to something, and that kind of just worked out in the end. The first year I didn't sell. I sold one property, made like $2,600 that first year. Second year kind of took off, and then the third year also just.
Okay, what do you accredit that to?
So no, you said it right. So it's more of I have it. I kind of like found my groove and like found my confidence in the business. I think the big thing in the business is when you could find your confidence.
Okay, how do you do that?
Honestly, okay, so by failing and just going up to people, like literally going up to open houses, like meeting people who are just like in their 50s, 60s, they're very well put together, very well spoken, and then you go in there and you butcher everything.
Yeah.
So you get an appointment, you get them on the phone, you get an appointment for them to meet you, and then you go there and you butcher like the entire thing, and you're like, what? I literally suck at this. And then obviously do open house. Then I was just sticking with it. So then I had open houses. Then I had good conversation with some people. Then I realized, let me say this instead of saying this. Let me actually, as time progresses, I realize how to ask the right questions.
Right. So you're basically, with each conversation that you're having with someone, you're essentially analyzing like how you did. And I'm not saying conversation like with random people. I'm obviously like in the business.
Yeah.
Right. So
exactly.
and you're like, what could I have done better? Right. Like, how could have the conversation gone more smoothly?
Absolutely.
Where I like showed value, and I'm the one that they should work with.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
100%.
Okay. So I'm going to go a little deeper. What do you accredit that to? And the reason why I'm asking that question, Matt, is because
it's a fair question.
Like most people, regardless of whether you're a loan officer or an agent, they hit those points where they're getting rejected, they're coming across these objections, regardless of how they handle them, right? And then they're like, I suck at this. Like you said, I suck at this, and then you're like, let me get better. Most people suck at this and they go really, really hard on themselves, and then they stop.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think the difference is between you that is like, okay, how can I get better, and someone that is like, I suck, I'm done?
Okay, so for me, and I'm only speaking in my perspective.
You're welcome to brag, by the way. This is
it's because
permission.
I actually didn't give a what people think about me. So it was like more of like not caring. Like even though if I butcher something and they felt like, I kind of suck. Like, yeah, I suck. I take it full. Like, I know I suck. I need to get better. So then so it was more of seeing more of the people who I looked up to and like, I kind of want to live your life. And I see how they speak and I can see how they kind of carry themselves. Like, I kind of admire that. I kind of want to be like that. I kind of want to live that lifestyle.
What do you attribute the not to? Just confidence that you've always had? Is that like, maybe it's a cultural thing? Maybe it was the way you were raised, your hustle?
Interesting question because my family's super quiet.
Because that's like the key ingredient, right? Because like in order for you to grow and like have those conversations and then self-reflect, and then like it goes deeper, right? So it does. Like, and people need to like understand what it truly is.
Interesting. That's very interesting because I don't even like, where did the confidence come from? Yeah. That's very interesting.
So I'll give you an example, man. Like I had to build my confidence. When my first couple years in the building business, I sucked because I had no confidence. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Didn't know like a cash out refinance from a regular one. I had no idea.
Love it.
Right. Wasn't taught anything until I was. And then I got my confidence. Right. So it's like for me, I know the confidence comes from like mastery and knowing that I know what I'm doing and I know every guideline. But like it's different for real estate because it's sales. Right. You don't need to know every guideline on the planet.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Okay, so perfect. So for the business, so how did I get confident in the business? It's more so learning everything about every single neighborhood and how to speak the lingo of every single neighborhood in terms of like price points of what to do in those areas, especially when you're like in the city and everything. Every 3-block radius kind of changes. Yeah. So you have to know what's everything, price points, what's happening on every single like corner of the city and corner of Brooklyn. So I was more of knowledge, but if I go deeper into it, of the confidence, I definitely think knowledge, but also is also the pure, I don't know, it's like the innate, I just didn't want to be a bum, kind of. It was like, I just don't want to be broke, and I kind of want to figure out my way.
I love that.
So
dude.
it was like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But, and this was like the only, and it was kind of strange because like I didn't have any other avenues. So I was like, like if I don't do this, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
And bikes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, I had others, but nothing like this.
I love that though. I love that, and I love that you even said that you didn't know like what this type of loan from this type of loan, and look where you are now.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean.
I started
very respectful.
Absolutely nothing, man. I was a complete. I wouldn't say I was an idiot. I just didn't know anything, and that's okay. And also
and that's okay.
And
that's totally okay to not know anything.
It's, in fact, it's normal.
Yes.
I think it's normal. It's like
you don't get born. Like you don't. You're like, oh my god,
you know?
Refi.
Exactly. No one has any idea, and I think that's okay, right? Like, so even for like my new LOs that join, if they don't know every guideline on the planet, like no one's expecting you to. It would be weird for you to know it, given that you're 2 months in the business.
Exactly.
And look, sometimes, so what I actually did, we have these like handbooks with all the guidelines.
Okay.
So my first 6 months in the business, I used to read them. Like these are like 500-page books, and what I was reading actually didn't make sense. All of it, what I realized, was for like manual underwriting, which is a kind of a different ball game.
It is.
But anyway, it gave me confidence, man. Just like knowing these guidelines. So
you know,
let's
speak the
say
lingo.
even for speak the lingo exactly, and learn the language.
Yes.
Real estate, mortgages. We have our own language. So like for you, that was studying neighborhoods and also the drive of not wanting to be a bum.
Yeah.
Right. But I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like who wants to be, forget being a bum, like who wants to be average?
Exactly. And that's the thing too. It's like, okay, I personally, and then there's no wrong answer to this question.
No.
Is like, what kind of lifestyle you want to live and how do you want to get there? Because you have to break it down. It's like, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, okay, there's certain things that you have to do in order to live that lifestyle. It does, like all these successful people that does have these attributes to them or these successes within their lives, it comes from a place of just pure built-in and pure just want. I don't know how to explain it, but it's more.
I'll give you an example for myself. Like I go back and forth, right? It's not the money, which I know is like a really cliche thing to say, but the reality is like if you focus on the money, that means you're not focused on the process.
The craft.
Yeah, you have to be focused on the craft because then the money is the byproduct.
Correct.
And I notice my weakest times in the business, which happens once every few years for sure, is when I'm focused on when I'm too transactional and I'm focused too much on money.
Correct.
Right? And then it's like I have to check myself and be like, no. Right? This is about serving your clients and your referral partners the best way. It's also about like giving them the best experience humanly possible. And then there's this other side, and this is for me personally, Matthew. It's a little bit of kind of like a sport, trying to kind of treat it like a game.
Absolutely.
Like I want to win. I want to be number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. Right? And that's just like it adds this like fun to it.
Yeah.
Right? Because also if you think of it like a game, you don't treat everything as seriously.
Correct.
What I mean by that, I'm not talking about playing around with our client's most important transaction of their career. I'm talking about like the moves that I make, right? It's like I look at it more like a chessboard, and it's like, okay, if I go here and then that will result in this and that, or I could do it this way.
Yeah.
Like that's the fun.
Yeah, and the fun is also in the beauty, and piggybacking on what you say, it's you don't know what you could create too. You don't know how far you could take it, because you could take it as far as you want to take it.
It's funny that you said that too, and sometimes like it happens unexpectedly.
Yep.
So I had a certain number in my mind in terms of like what I wanted to make and what I wanted to close.
Yeah.
And like I mapped out all this stuff. Like, okay, if I do this, and this, I'll eventually get there. What ended up happening is that I ended up doing 4 to 5 times that amount accidentally. You could also kind of add 2020 was great, 2021, but this happened in 2019 actually. So basically from 2018 to 2019, my production quadrupled.
Amazing.
Right. So And that was attributed to doing social media and podcasts and videos and all this stuff, right? And now we have to look for the same thing and take it to the next level. But that's also another thing. You got to kind of throw stuff at a wall and see what sticks. And that's the beauty of it. But most people don't do that. Most people in the business don't have a schedule or a routine. They're just like, okay, I'm going to show up and I'm going to door knock for an hour, and that's great, right? And then, but the rest of their day is shot, right? Like, okay, so door knocking is great. What about following up with your sphere and all this other stuff? So on that note, and you're welcome to divulge as much as you want, what does this is one of my favorite questions to ask actually, is what does your typical day look like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed?
Perfect. So from as soon as I get up, you want to know in detail? No, no. So when I get up, I literally work out first. So as soon as I get up, I do a workout. I get up at around in between 5 to 6:30, in between that range, depending on what happened the night before. So as long as I can get my good amount of sleep in. So workout, run 110%, get back, and get ready for the day. So in the first part of my day, from I would say from 8 to 10, let me backtrack. So the night before, I would always schedule out what I'm doing the next day. So I know what I'm doing in terms of the blocks. So from 8 to 10, I'm texting everybody who I need to follow up with, whoever I need to get in touch with, in terms of all the new clients that I met, let's say the weeks and days before. So I kind of block them out. Okay, I need to touch buyer 1, 2, 3, seller 1, 2, 3. So in between 8 and 10, that's when I do all that follow-up calls. In between 10 to I would say 10 on, I do any mid appointments, if that makes sense, because
because you have miscellaneous stuff
that needs so it's very 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 up in the air type of things. So that's where appointments, inspections, things like that happens. So 8 to 10 is my prospecting time that I kind of use it. And after that, that's going to be my appointment time, where when I do make appointments for prior days. And then funny enough, I actually try to work out again at a 1:30 to 2, in between that range. Very light workout, very 15 to 20 minute workout.
I'm assuming it's just for energy
literally energy because I make appointments in the end of the day, and I want to be very there, and I have a lot of energy.
It's very interesting actually. And it's a good tool to use. It's something that what's his face, Tony Robbins preaches a lot. What
does he say?
Basically, working out to get your energy up.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So, but to do it twice in a day, I haven't heard of before for that purpose.
Yeah, and it's funny because if I don't work out, I don't feel like taking a phone call. That's so funny to me.
It's very interesting.
And I just wouldn't feel like it, right?
Yeah, because it gets you in that frame of mind where you're let's go mofo mode and crush everything.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Literally to the T. And then I have that small workout. It's very minimal. It's just a quick mile and then a couple push-ups. Yeah. That's it.
So this is what I talk about all the time. What gets you into the frame of mind? What puts you on? Yeah. And for most people, it is working out, right? Yeah. For me, it's working out as well. I just like to get in the gym. I'm not doing anything crazy, man. I'm not deadlifting or doing Olympic lifts, but still, it's you jam some music, you get a little angry, you get you get that primal rage.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then
you tap into that.
Yeah, and then you got the endorphins flowing, you're feeling good, and you crush it. You just that's the way.
Exactly. And if you do something hard, right? So it's you do something super hard and you're oh my God, everything else is easy. Oh my God, I could take all I have to do is call someone and ask them if they need help with anything, or if I could help come meet with them at some point. God forbid they say no.
That's amazing. That's actually freaking key. You do something difficult, so this way the rest of your day, everything looks easy. Because that's something people struggle with, especially people that are newer in the business that need to make those calls. They're worried about how they're going to go. Yeah. And look, to a large extent, it's just about doing it. Yeah. Because regardless of what you do, I'll give you an example, right? So I started teaching CE about 10 months ago. I do it once a month here. Okay, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've got to put you on my list. Yeah. So in the beginning, teaching the CE drained me, right? Because even though I've done public speaking before, it's a 2-hour class, and I'm trying to be entertaining and all this stuff, and and teach the material, and it's boring material. It's mortgage shit.
Be a comedian.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So and then in the beginning it used to wipe me for the day.
I see.
Because I put so much energy into it. And then after I did it like 6-7 times, it's literally no different to me like structuring a file in terms of the energy output, because simply it's not that I'm amazing at it, it's just you get used to it. Right? Like anything, like making cold calls or following up with a client that maybe you messed up on a deal with and now you have to fix it, but you don't want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
It's like once you do it a bunch of times.
Exactly. It's literally like working out. It's like running a mile. Like let's say you didn't run a mile for like 6 months and then you end up saying, okay, I need to run a mile. The first day you do it, you're gonna be day 67, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be like it's just like riding a bike. It's like, okay, it's done deal.
Literally.
Because it's just a habit of consistently building.
Okay, so going back to my other thought is, how do you wrap up your day?
How do I wrap up my day?
And what time do you wrap up your day?
Oh, there's fun. Oh, I have something. So I don't eat throughout the day at all.
Okay.
So I just don't. So at the end of the day.
Coffee, black coffee?
No.
Water?
Yeah.
Wow.
Lemon water.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then at the end of the day, so typically go home and just like eat everything that's in front of me. That's it.
I see.
Like literally.
My assumption, so I don't do that, but I do something similar.
What do you do? What's your end of the day?
So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'll give you my day, no problem. So I'm assuming the reason that you do that is because you want to feel like light, and when you eat, it weighs you down.
It makes me feel too relaxed.
And foggy.
Foggy, too relaxed, literally to the T. It makes me not feel sharp. I don't know, it may be just in my head, but I just feel like I'm not just there, and my shoulders are down. I was a little relaxed, like, okay, like, I just feel more sluggish, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so I just don't. And I kind of trained my body that way to adapt to it. But it's like the lifestyle.
It's healthy too.
It's super healthy. Yeah. And it's like the lifestyle that I want to live. Like what works for me. Everybody else has their own structure and their own schedule and like whatever works for them. So I feel like everybody has to find out what works. How do you, and that's what I was getting at in terms of success. It's like, how do you want to live your life? And how do you see yourself living every single day?
So you basically do one meal a day, but a very large meal that I assume you eat over like an hour or two.
Literally 2 hours. Okay. Literally an hour.
What time do you stop working?
I stop work. It depends. Every day is different, right? So sometimes if my last showing is like at 5:30, I would end at 5:30. My last showing is at 7:30. I'll end at 7:30. So it all depends. It's all up in the air because my appointments, I put them all at the end as well. So a lot of showings.
So you're basically all out from like 5 a.m. to potentially as late as 7:30, 8, 9 p.m. and then you go home, you eat, and then you just recharge.
Yes.
So you have that end of the day recharge.
Correct.
Okay, that
Correct.
works.
And it all depends. And it all depends. It's all up in there. Like sometimes if I have no appointments at the end of the day at like 2 p.m. and on, hypothetically, if I have none, then I'm done. Like I'm basically done. So I would just work out again, and then I would go for a walk, go on a date or something like that.
Do you go for a walk after you eat?
After I eat, yeah. Oh, not at night.
Nope,
not at night. I don't. Actually, I should, but I don't.
Yeah, I think
I'm so burnt
it
at
depends.
the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if your goal is to just eat all your food and relax.
Yeah.
And then like going for a walk feels like work.
Yeah.
I would argue that you're better off staying home and relaxing so you can like recharge your brain and not there has to come a point in the day where you're not using willpower to fuel yourself.
Correct.
Right, and you just recharge that battery. So I think even though experts will say, it's good for you physically, but it's probably mentally not the best.
Exactly. It doesn't work well with my with my lifestyle. So it's like I need to just at the end of the day, I'm like literally watching like mindless TV and just like saying nothing absolutely nothing, not speaking to anybody. Don't want to speak. And I knock out probably like 10.
Oh wow, that's early.
Yeah,
I need to start doing that.
Dude.
Yeah. So my day, to give it to you quick, it's similar. I recently changed my schedule. It used to be a little bit different, but I'm up at like 5:30.
Okay.
And at the gym at 6:30ish. I like to lay in bed for a little bit.
With your calf pictures.
Yeah, it's really feet pictures actually. So the reason why.
Dude, tell me that. How did that start?
The main reason why I do feet is because look, I can take like selfies in the gym,
nice
but
calves.
like I definitely have nice calves. I'm very proud of my calves.
And nice calves.
Thank you, man. I also have very nice feet. I'm proud of my feet. And I've never got a pedicure in my life.
Fire.
And I have incredible feet that a foot model would be
Tyler just laughing at you.
Of. Tyler knows because it's like a running.
Is it a thing?
It's a running joke in the office now, like my feet pictures. Yeah, everyone just roasts me.
I like it.
But the reason is because
I'm supportive of it.
My gym frowns upon like mirror pictures and like.
Do they actually?
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone does it.
Yeah.
But I'm also just like, I'm not like a selfie type of person.
Yeah.
I feel like
You're
it's not very masculine to take selfies.
Yeah.
Like once in a while is okay.
If I need a re-up, I would throw a selfie.
Yeah, I mean,
If I need a
I get
re-up.
it. You got to throw out those thirst traps. I have other methods of
absolutely,
doing that.
100%. You have an interesting method too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about that off camera. Tyler knows like about my I'm not single anymore, but my pre-date strategy. Nice. Thank you. Before I got tied up
off camera.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fun, and you'll know exactly what it is too. Absolutely. But anyway, so I hit the gym from I guess 6:30 to 8, steam room, shower up, and then start driving over here like 8:15, 8:20. I probably get here at like 9, and then. My goal is to leave at 5:30, but it's really like 7. It's just an old habit that we have that we always used to work from 10 to 7.
Exactly.
Which I'm trying to shake because I want to have kids and stuff in a few years, and I don't want to get home at 7 or 8.
110%. And like literally, just not to cut you off, but I wanted to like structure my life where, okay, hypothetically, if I wanted to be done in my day at 2 p.m., I want to be done in my day at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of want to.
And then if you want to pick up your kids from school and chill.
Literally, exactly.
But you're young, you got time.
But no, I've never really, and I had this conversation. I 100% want kids without a dad in my life.
Yeah.
Like I want to get married and want to have kids. So it's like I want to be able to structure my life now where I dictate my lifestyle, my schedule, where I make my money the way I want to do it only in order to live my life the way I want with my family.
Long-term thinking.
I'm not, everything that I'm doing now is literally not for tomorrow.
Yeah,
literally not for tomorrow.
It's 6 months plus at least.
6 months plus. And like I want to travel. I want to do all these things. And how's that going to happen? By doing these little processes, making these little phone calls now. So it's like, it's just that.
Which again, most people
but I love it though.
Think that way.
And I ended up loving it. Like I love, like that's the thing too. I think people feel like they don't want to do it because they actually don't like it and enjoy it. I love to speak about real estate. I love everything about it. I'm like an obsessive to it. So I feel like it's so easy to me to do it because I like it so much and I just knowledgeable.
What about it do you like the most? People? Like meeting people?
I love to
because you're a social guy.
Yeah, so I love I love to meet into people because you meet these insane people from all sorts of the world that comes to New York. That's what I love about it. Second thing, it's funny because this is why I like it the most. Is because I realize in life what I enjoy is having experience in terms of just having people sit down, have a conversation, and just chat, just shoot, just kind of shoot the shit. I kind of realize I enjoy that a lot, like the most. Like I would work out in the day and just have a conversation with my wife the entire day. I think I'll be happy.
Really?
Swear to God. Like it would like work, make like still have my flips on whatever.
Depends on your wife.
Depends on the wife. I like to sit down and have like the banter and the conversation.
Yeah.
Depends on the wife for sure.
Yeah.
But I just like it gets the social need out of you of having the conversation of however many people, like you're just having just a back and like an actual present conversation and like just there. It kind of fulfills.
Well, you're not thinking about anything else. You're just in that moment.
When you're there with whoever, when you're there on the phone or there with someone and it's like that, like you don't, everything else in your life blanks out. Like you're not thinking about anything,
which is mandatory. I mean, that's also like what I get from the gym too. Like when you're working out, like you're not thinking. I'm not thinking about work while I'm working out, ever.
Big correlation. Exactly, it's a big correlation on like.
You got to switch off.
You have to have that.
Because otherwise you burn out, which I've also experienced.
Because then it creates stress, right? It creates you're not there presently, and it shoots the stress up.
One, tell people how to reach you.
All platforms is just my name, Matthew Algoo. Nothing too fancy. Just
Algoo, baby.
Algoo, baby.
Okay. Any last words of wisdom, advice, life chronicles, or it could just be something silly? Okay.
Just be yourself and be unapologetically yourself.
I'm going to add to that.
Go.
If being yourself doesn't work for you, there is a high probability that you are an and you need to change and improve yourself. So because like that's good advice if who you are is a hardworking person and you're a good person, you have integrity.
True.
But if you like want to succeed and you're kind of a POS, then that means you need to change and do better.
I'm gonna bat you on that. Look at all these very big trollers in terms of fight, of like when they're going to fight, they're not the best person, but they're like selling out tickets. So,
there you go. Okay, I like it. We'll end on that.
Well, I know that.
Thank you, Algoo.
My man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you.